going to do to begin with actually share my own personal story. And I haven't actually done this before, so this is a bit of a new thing for me. I normally just talk about VMware and the grads themselves, but I thought it would be nice to share my story as well. So just to give you some insight, I'm the university recruiter for Australia and New Zealand at VMware. So if you are applying for any graduate internship roles at VMware, you will be speaking to me. But I just wanted to share. So my background. So I graduated in health sciences at Sydney Uni in 2018, so 2 years ago. And so I was majoring in speech pathology as part of my major. And after finishing and completing my degree, I kind of started to understand and realize that I didn't really find a passion in health. I didn't really find anything in the industry that I really was passionate or excited about. And after speaking to professionals themselves and speaking outside the industry, I started to hear more about HR and hear about human resources. And I realized what I loved about health was the people component. And I realized health science, human resources had the same thing in a different industry. So I remember when I first started my master's in human resources, I was like, what's a stakeholder? What's a shareholder? I have no idea, because my whole life has been about chemistry and biology and cells and all those stuff. And even in high school, I was learning science. I never did business. So it was a completely different world for me, and it was challenging for me as well. And I remember when I first got my assignment for my master's degree, I was going into my dad's office with my notepad, asking the HR officers there, to tell me more about what HR is, because I actually had no idea. So, and now I'm a university recruiter at VMware. So I have since at VMware I started in talent acquisition. So I started as in mainstream industry recruitment, and then I moved into university recruitment within 8 months. So why I really love sharing this story to grads themselves is, I guess I can resonate with you guys all in the sense that, what the challenges you're going through from a university perspective and as for my own professional job, but also personally as well. I've been through that challenge of having to understand what I want to do after I finish. And I guess the beautiful thing about, Australia and the kind of flexibility that we have in our recruitment is that we don't always, it's not always the obvious fit. It's not, people often think I've done an IT degree, therefore I have to go into an IT role, or I've done a science degree, I have to go into a science role. And that's not the case. It's a huge world. There's lots of different roles. And what I personally admire and respect when I recruit, especially grads, is that when you've got a different background, I think you do bring a different perspective to the role. So I know, for example, my own story, when I got a health science degree, yes, human resources, completely different to health, but I guess doing psychology, learning more about people, understanding the physical and the mental components of a person makes me more human in my job as a recruiter. And I think that's what makes me different from my colleagues. And I embrace that difference. So, for you guys as well, what I would take is, VMware definitely supports that. We don't, we're not often going for the most obvious fit. And that's what I love about VMware, is that we hire people from diverse backgrounds, diverse skill sets. And that's what makes, I guess, us all different as employees in the organization. So embrace that change and embrace that power of going into whichever space that you're passionate about, because that's kind of ultimately what you look for. And I guess, again, from a VMware perspective, being promoted within 8 months, I think that shows that VMware acknowledges hard work, and it acknowledges passion, and it acknowledges that skill set as well. So, if you guys are interested in VMware, I think I can say from my personal experience, and not just because someone's told me to say this, is that, VMware really does support growth.